Hello, everyone. Welcome to This Is Why We Stand. My name is Joe Archino, and I was inspired to make this series because of the stance that many have taken not to stand and honor our flag. And first off, I really want to thank everyone who's really supported this series. It's only given me more motivation to continue doing things. And without further ado, let's get right into today's. And today we are focusing on Desmond Doss. And Desmond Doss is a Medal of Honor recipient, and you don't have to go very far soon to hear his name or see him on the big screen because a movie, Hacksaw Ridge, which is his story, will be coming out just in a matter of days. So I would highly recommend you see that to really just get an even better understanding of Desmond Doss and what he meant to this country and what he sacrificed for all of us. But I think when you look at Doss, he's the perfect example of this notion that I think sometimes escapes us, but is so important, and that is you don't always need to wield a weapon to serve your country. The mission to serve can be accomplished in many different ways, and to me, Doss is that perfect example. He was labeled a conscientious objector by the U.S. Army because of very strong religious principles. He refused to carry a weapon, and he refused to take another person's life. Now, understandably, when you're a soldier, that is going to be a big hindrance to your job. But Doss became a Army combat medic because of that, and it was something that made it very difficult for him. He faced a lot of challenges. He faced a lot of scrutiny from fellow soldiers, from other people, because of that fact that his religious principles were so strong that he refused to carry a weapon and refused to take another man's life. But not ever did that get in the way of making Doss be one of the most selfless people you will ever hear a story about. And there's a reason that he's a Medal of Honor recipient, and it's because he constantly, time after time, put others' lives before his own life. And the ultimate example of that is a battle that took place in Okinawa. And obviously, Okinawa is the most bloody battle that basically took place in the Pacific Theater. There were so many, the challenges of the island hopping campaign, and for people who don't know what that is, the war in the Pacific, the United States military basically went on a campaign where they went island to island, forcing the Japanese to off of that, clearing it of all enemy combatants, and this was the most bloody of all of them. And Doss, this is really where his story comes into play, but where it really does start is on a 400-foot high ridge. Basically, the American forces had the ridge. The Japanese counterattacked it. Many Americans were forced off of it. But there were a lot of men still on that ridge. One of the people who was on that ridge was Doss. And what Doss was able to do was constantly saving as many lives as he could. He saved, according to his Medal of Honor citation, 70 lives. Now, he has said it's more of around 50. But I don't care if it's 70, if it's 50, or it's 5. For someone to risk the extreme measures that Doss did, all to save as many of his men's lives as he could, that to me is the perfect example of why Doss is a Medal of Honor recipient and why he is the embodiment of everything that we stand for and everything that we hold so dear. The fact that this man would put so much sacrifice aside for the man next to him without even questioning it. And you will see, as I mentioned some other examples, this isn't the only case, but Doss saved, we'll say, between 50 and 70 lives constantly. And what he basically did was, on this ridge, obviously, it's very difficult. How are you going to save these guys? Well, he had a clever trick where he used a rope system where he tied part of the rope to a tree, and then he would lower the wounded soldiers down to other Americans on the ground. And he just did this time after time, just going up, picking up a guy, bringing him, lowering him down. This cycle continued time after time, and he saved a whole lot of lives that day. And I think right off the bat, and I do want to say I can't do the Medal of Honor citation justice. I'm really just giving you the highlights to really get the full feel and effect and understanding of just how much that Doss sacrificed. You really should go and read it, and I think look, it doesn't matter who it is. If you read any Medal of Honor citation, it's going to humble you just to see what people are willing to sacrifice for this country. And I think, to me, there's so many examples of reasons to stand, but if you really are lacking inspiration to do so, it only takes a couple quick reads of a Medal of Honor citation of anyone to really get the full understanding of why you must always stand. But I will go back to Doss a little bit. That right there is one of the biggest ones, and throughout this campaign, the Okinawa campaign, even days after that, it was just time and time again where Doss was putting his life in the way to help out others. He was wounded a couple of days later, and he basically treated his own wounds for 5 hours before medical treatment could arrive to him. They put him on a stretcher, and they're carrying him back to receive full medical attention, but he saw another soldier who was injured much worse than he was, so he got off that stretcher, and he instructed the medics to put that man who was in more danger on that stretcher and to get him to attention first. And then he basically made his way back by using a rifle as a crutch and basically crawling his way back to the base to receive medical attention. You know, there are so many things to say about Doss, the challenges he faced because of his strong religious beliefs, but more than anything, to me, he is the example that we all need to always remember, that you don't need to carry a weapon to sacrifice for your country, to make your country better. There are so many different ways. I think every single day, teachers are the ultimate embodiment of serving one's country, making sure. I mean, you have to always remember the first duty is to remember. You don't need to always give military service, but if you don't, the most basic thing you can do to honor the sacrifices of everyone who have sacrificed so that you could be here and I could be here is to remember. It's as easy as that. And I think that's one thing that teachers do so well. It's that making sure that the first basic duty is always kept in mind, and that is to remember. And Doss gave so many reasons to do just that. I mean, we've talked about Martin Treptow, we've talked about Rufus Dawes, we've talked about Dirk Vlug. It's just example after concrete example of people willing to risk everything for this country. And again, I'm not asking you to do a lot, but I think if there's anyone who listens to this who felt the need that like they didn't need to stand, I hope if there's anything I can accomplish with this, it's to help people understand that you have to stand. It's your duty to do so, because you're not standing for politics, you're not standing for things that have treated you unfairly in life. You're standing for the common soldier who gave up everything, who served for you, who served for your right to be where you are today. You're standing for him. You're standing for all those people who gave up so much. And that's, to me, the ultimate point of this series. And it only takes a quick history lesson to reemphasize that. But today's was Desmond Doss. Tomorrow's will be another hero who gave up everything for his country. Until the next time, everyone, Joe Archino. Again, thank you very much for listening. Thank you for your constant support. It really means the world to me, because people know me so much for sports and everything that I've done in the sports world, but some things go way beyond sports. I mean, sports at its core is entertainment, and that's all it ever will be, but this is real life. These are people who sacrificed for real things, and to me, it's always been in my heart, even before sports ever came into my life. Understanding the sacrifices that were made was always there first, and it will always be with me, and it will always be something that I will be an advocate for. And this series is one of those many ways that I think I can be an advocate for everyone. But again, your support means so much, and I hope that I'm able to continue to churn these out. And like I've said, it will not stop. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.